You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Friday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
50-50 is sitting at like 29 grand right now.
By the time you hear this, we've probably cracked the $30,000 mark, which is amazing considering Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. we started with 3,000.
We do give away our first early bird prize on Monday, so if you haven't got your tickets yet, go to bcc5050.ca. We're giving away an iPad Pro on Monday. Then we'll have $1,000 the next week and $2,000 the next week after that.
Yeah, there's a link in the description of this and all episodes of the podcast right now. You can click to get there immediately. But remember, because some people do listen from elsewhere, you have to be in Ontario to buy your tickets.
But I was reading online this morning that it seems like the Foo Fighters are officially on like an indefinite hiatus. I mean, last week they had to cancel their performance at a festival and Jack White, stepped in there. But also, yesterday Dave Grohl was spotted in public for the first time, and allegedly, no ring on the finger there.
I'm sure he just had it in for cleaning, right? He was probably just getting it resized or something like that. Also, can I go back to the part where you said that they had to cancel that festival date?
What do you mean?
They did not have to cancel anything. This man literally broke his leg and had a custom set stage and throne built so he could continue touring. Now, he just had a baby out of wedlock. He cheated on his wife and spawned a bastard.
I mean, that's true. I mean, it only took them like 6 months to get back on the road after Taylor Hawkins died, too.
Yeah,
so.
like, they didn't have to cancel anything. They just don't want to be out where people can ask them questions right now. And to be fair enough. Like, if I'm in the band and I'm not Dave Grohl, I'm bummed out. I don't want to deal with the aftermath of all this. But for Dave Grohl, like, you can't say that he had to do it. He just didn't want to be out right now.
It would be funny if next year they come back with a big tour and instead of having like the big throne that he had when his leg was broken, it's just like a throne made of like alimony payments and lawyers' fees.
Divorce papers.
Yeah, he's just sitting on his lawyer's lap the entire concert.
He's still in the throne from the Broken Leg tour, but it's so he can use his foot to rock the crib while he's playing songs.
He's got a chastity belt on the whole time.
The I Swear It Won't Happen Again tour coming to a show near you.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Yesterday we got a new coworker in the building. Shout out to Mia. She brought us some delicious apple fritters.
Oh my God, they were so good.
She seems really nice, but everyone was super skeptical about her because we found out that she's an HR person.
Which is hilarious because she is an HR employee for Rogers, the corporation, and not for this station, not for the radio or media arm of the company at all, has no interaction with us, and everybody puckered up as soon as they were like, HR, you say?
Oh, everyone in the building was insanely awkward around her, and she was super nice. But
she really was.
You could tell everyone was watching their P's and Q's. The vibe was off yesterday. As soon as we got off the air, it was like we saw this lady in the hall, and even like Boss Jackie warned us, right? And she's like, hey, she's from HR, and we were all like, instantly, both of us were like, what did we do?
Because we were in a meeting with the boss at the time, and now all of a sudden there's an HR person in the building.
Yeah, she's like, I got to go let this HR lady in. And we're like, oh, come on,
what
dude.
What did we do?
And then everyone that was in the office was like, oh, hi, who's this? And then she'd be like, I'm from HR. And you could tell instantly, like, they just shut down a little bit.
I'll tell you right now, though. Nothing is as good for posture as an HR person.
Yeah.
Everybody stood up a little straighter yesterday.
I feel like it's got to be tough being somebody who works in HR.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's your job at the end of the day, but everybody around you is just skeptical as hell. You're basically like, when someone sees anyone that works in HR, it's like the cops.
Yeah.
Like when a cop's driving behind you, you're like, I know I didn't do anything wrong, but crap.
And that's just it. Cops already get the rap of like everybody is nervous around them or like confrontational, and then you go that one step further to like internal affairs cops, the ones who police the police.
Yeah.
And now even the cops are like, what is that person doing here? What's going on here?
I feel bad for people that work in HR because they probably have the least amount of work friends. Because it's one of those things where you don't want to make jokes around them. You don't know what you can get away with.
That's just it. Yeah. It's tough to like test the boundaries for someone who could write you up.
It's almost like being in a gang where it's like you gotta have something over the HR person to be cool with them.
Yeah. You got to get them drunk at least once, and then like hope that they do something dumb.
It's like hanging out with an undercover cop. That's what like hanging out with an HR person.
An undercover cop who is still wearing their badge on their belt for some reason.
So I want to apologize to our new coworker Mia. You seem great, but because of your job title, we got to keep our distance.
Oh, no, she fully won me over with the apple fritters. You keep those coming, we'll be friends forever.
I don't know, man. Maybe the apple fritters were a ploy.
I can be bought. I can be bought.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The biggest one that we got texted in is like meter maids, parking enforcement, parking vultures, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, the people who give you tickets. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? They are just doing their jobs. If they don't enforce parking in downtowns, it's like statistically proven gets worse.
Yeah.
But when you get the ticket, they are the worst person you've ever met.
They're kind of like spiders. If you understand like what their purpose is in the long and short form, you kind of appreciate them.
I'm sure they love that comparison.
But if you think about it, they're the reason that you can find a parking spot technically.
Absolutely. No, 100%. They are a vital part of a vibrant downtown. Until they stop at your car, and then they're the worst.
It's like telemarketers are the most annoying thing in the world, but another one of those jobs that someone's got to do it. Same with door-to-door, or CRA is getting texted in a lot at 762-555.
I saw a few texts of people saying site safety, and that's another one. It's just someone who's doing their job. They're literally there to try and make sure everybody on the job site is going to go home to their family at the end of the day. And all it takes is for them to be like, hey, you're doing that like incorrectly. You got to do it this way. And everybody's like, God, that guy sucks,
I think all of these professions, it's technically you're not mad at them. You're low-key mad at yourself. It's like the repo guy, right?
Yeah.
Like they're only repossessing your car because you didn't make the payments.
Right. Yeah. And you can't sit there and be like, oh, I'm such an idiot. So instead, you'd be like, why don't you get a real job instead of ruining people's lives?
We do got Kevin on the phone. Kevin, what do you think?
Well, the profession I thought was dentist, because 25% of all dentists get attacked at least once in their career.
Dude, I listen, I've never attacked a dentist. I wouldn't, but I've been poked in the gums enough times that it's crossed my mind. I'll say that.
Yeah, it when I first heard that stat, it kind of went, yeah, that actually makes sense.
It tracks.
Just all hopped up on laughing gas, tripping out.
Throwing hands.
Well, no, there's an idea, too.
Thanks, Kevin.
If you're going to talk about the dentist, you also have to mention the proctologist. I'm sure that guy gets a fair amount of hate.
What profession do you think gets the most hands thrown at them, then?
Oh, well, that's got to be cops, right?
Cops?
Theoretically.
Nah, bouncers, actually.
Oh, you're probably right. People are probably more likely to attack a bouncer / doorman, security, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to an official police officer.
Yeah.
Because that's going to go bad for you. But yeah, I bet working the door. I mean, I've done the few security gigs back when I was in college.
You couldn't pay me enough to deal with drunk people at a bar, man.
It's not fun. It's absolutely awful.
And that's another one. People just get mad at security guards just for doing their job.
Yeah. I think the only time I've been physically attacked at work was when I was a DJ. I was a DJ as a side job in like radio school.
I mean, I've been verbally assaulted here at this job, but that's completely different.
Verbally and emotionally assaulted almost every single day for the last 20 years. But physically, almost a couple times as well, yeah.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Toronto Maple Leafs posted this video on their Instagram, and the people in the comments are absolutely pissed as they asked every player as they were getting on the bus, what birth year do you consider old? Mm-hmm. Be prepared to be upset with some of these answers.
So I just want to be clear. This is not you. This is not a joke you're playing.
This is all the players on the Leafs.
Okay.
Listen to their answers.
96. That's a tough question. Well, I'm old, so I'm going to say anything over 90 right now. You're old.
What?
Like 89, 88?
How old? What birth year do you consider
88?
old? 90. I'm old. I said like 90 or 88.
Anyone in the 80s?
I said,
What are you? 90, baby.
I said 89 and old.
Anything with a 9 in front of it.
I am upset, and I hope that 67 never gets rectified. I hope the Toronto Maple Leafs lose every game this season.
People in the comments are saying you just lost a fan.
89! The oldest date that any of them listed was 88. One person said anywhere in the 80s. That's not... Are you insane?
The oldest player on the Toronto Maple Leafs right now is Ryan Reeves, born in 1987.
Jesus. He's one of the guys who was like, I'm old, so I guess, yeah. I mean, listen, I was born in 1983. I just turned 41 years old, and other than you and my birth children, nobody calls me old. You cannot say anyone born in the 80s is old.
I think the weird thing is for a lot of kids nowadays, and you got to remember, kids that are born in 2000 are 24 years old now.
Yeah.
So anything that has a 19 in front of it, those kids are assuming we're all old as dust. Which is the weird. There are guys on the Toronto Maple Leafs that could crack the roster. Easton Cowan, born in 2005.
That's tough to hear.
So I know we all have this thing where you look at people and you're like, that are younger than you, and you're like, oh, they're all 12 years old.
Yeah.
They all look at the rest of us and are like, ew.
Like we're in our withering 90s.
Yeah.
Come on. Anybody in the 80s is so upsetting to hear.
Which, a reminder, the 80s was not 20 years ago. I know there's some people that are still hung up on that.
To be referred to as having been born in the late 1900s feels really offensive.
Yeah.
It's accurate, but it feels really offensive.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You got to think about this logically, Dalby. Don't get upset. Now, these kids retire when they're like 38, and they start getting run ragged. The only way to get to the NHL is start skating before you're out of your mama's belly. So by the time they retire, they're on a 40-year career. Now, I'll retire after 40 years of drywall, but I didn't start till I was 18.
You know what? Fair point, because if you're like 35 in the NHL, you're considered a vintage player.
A veteran holding on.
Yeah, exactly. You're already 17 seasons in if you're any friggin' good, right?
I get what you're saying. But also, them kids.
Well, I guess I'm back. I got to go back and do some more drywall because I'm an old.
Get back to work, old man.
Later.
Cheers.
A lot of people are triggered on the text line here this morning with the whole thing. But they say age is just a number, but that's also something that old people say, I think.
Jamie texted in, and I was like, yeah, that's a great text. He says, your attitude makes you old, not your year. And then I stopped and thought, I was like, no, I think my attitude and my year both maybe make me feel a little old.
I think there's a lot of things that can make you feel old. Obviously, your body, right? You know, you have a sore back, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, aches and pains. When you go to sleep and wake up sore, you feel old.
But even think about little things like Tony Hawk and Eminem became grandparents this week.
Thanks, I hate it.
That officially means if you grew up loving both of those guys, you're old too.
Eminem's a granddad
Yeah,
now?
It was announced like yesterday that he's going to become a grandfather.
I used to, in high school, listen to his album singing about his child daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She's having kids now? Kids having kids, man.
Well, that's another thing, is when your friends' kids are having kids, that's a sign that you're getting old, bro.
That's true. So far, so good. I think the closest I have a couple friends who are kids had like graduated high school.
Yeah.
That's as far as it's gone so far.
Or like even, we do all these anniversary albums on the station all the time. And when you hear like your favorite album is turning 20, is turning 30, is turning 40.
Oh, dude, you do that thing every year around the OHL draft where you talk about albums that are old enough to get drafted.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart every single year of albums I listened to. First it was in high school, now it's albums I listened to in college, albums that I've been in radio for the release of, and I'm like, just stop it.
Yeah, you ever watch an old movie and then you're like, wait, when did this come out?
Yeah.
And you start watching it and you're like, oh, this kind of sucks.
When you see your favorite movie, but it's on like Turner Classic Movies, and you're like, no!
Something that you thought had groundbreaking CGI or technology.
That's me. Anytime I see a PlayStation Division 1 game and I think back to like, it'll never get better than this.
You want to feel old? Show your kids your favorite movie, and you'll feel old real quick, dude.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Are you familiar with the company Lush?
Yeah, they make like bath bombs and junk like that.
What are them?
Yeah, Courtney
beauty-
buys all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. All the fun, nice, smelly stuff. They're in the news because someone apparently either misused one of their products or their product did something that was unexpected. But a woman went famous for tweeting at Lush just the other day, asking if the product is supposed to stain skin. Click the link that I just sent you for a picture.
All right.
This is a girl named Abby.
Yo.
Who apparently or allegedly got into a tub with a bath bomb that hadn't dissolved yet and is now pink.
She just looks like she's completely sunburnt, honestly.
Looks like she fell asleep on a beach somewhere down Mexico way and is just fully fried.
So what happened? Did they say anything? Did it come off?
Apparently she tweeted at the wrong arm of Lush, like the wrong customer service handle, but they did get in touch with her. She was given some sort of like combination of products to try and wash it all off. She claims in interviews that she is back to normal human skin color.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're like, hey, here's some like free merch or whatever. Please don't tell anybody about this.
I wonder if she went to work.
That's the question that I was wondering. Like, I know that you said it yourself. Courtney buys a lot of this stuff.
She's
and
like
I know
head
you.
to toe pink, though.
I know you. You're the kind of person that enjoys to pamper yourself a little bit. You're the king of the mani-pedi, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have at least once or twice tried some of Courtney's bath products.
If this was me, I ain't coming into work.
You wouldn't come here
I'm
if
not
you got
dealing
dyed
with
bright
that.
pink?
No, this is like that guy in Arrested Development that turns himself blue in the shower.
Oh, Tobias?
Yeah. Screw that, man.
You wouldn't, if you blew yourself, you wouldn't come into work?
Even when I get...
That's the way he says it in the show.
Even when I get like sunburnt sometimes, man, I feel embarrassed going out in public.
I will say, I think that she had some good fortune here because it could have been worse, right? You said it yourself. She just looks like she's got a bad sunburn. I've seen some of the bath bombs and stuff that come out of those stores. They're electric green and bright blue or orange. She could have come out looking like she fell asleep at a tanning booth.
Dude, some of them are dark and like it could have went really bad.
Oh, dude, charcoal is
you
like...
could be looking like a Trudeau kind of thing, you know?
All the rage with the charcoal-activated body wash products. If it stains your skin black, you pretty much have to stay home,
and
right?
I think you just... I wouldn't even post it on Twitter. I think you just got to hide for
Absolutely.
a bit.
People are 100% going to think that you tried something you're not supposed to do with some body paint.
It's not going to look good.
You're not going to...
No.
Is there a color that's good? Would there be a color you'd be like, oh, this actually is kind of fun?
Nothing other than the normal color that you have. I mean, there are people that go to tanning salons and even they look like idiots when they spray themselves orange.
Yo, hear me out. We figure out what bath bomb she used to do this. We see if there's an orange one. We've got a Donald Trump Halloween costume done and dusted.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Pretty excited. I'm finally going to get out for my first round of golf for the season.
You're going golfing this weekend?
I'm going golfing on Sunday with 399 of my closest friends.
Did you get into that thing?
I got into the 400-some, which is an event put on by Golf Town and Random Golf Club coming up this weekend north of Toronto.
That's amazing. We both entered back in the summer. We saw this ad on like TSN or whatever it was. If you got in, you never told me.
So you were gone. The week that I got my acceptance was the week you were out sick.
Yeah.
We both applied. I got, probably like you, an email that was like, hey, you didn't get in, but you're on the wait list. If anything opens up, blah, blah, blah. A few days later, I got another email that was like, you're off the wait list. You're in the game. So what it is the club at Bondhead is the course.
It's like outside Toronto, right?
Somewhere north of the city. Me and 399 other people.
This is so funny.
Have all been invited to go to this event where 400 people will tee off on the same hole at the same time, and then it's best ball. to play that hole.
That is going to be an absolute crap show.
And dude, so I got the details on it. The 400-some, the one hole where all 400 people play at once, that's like the big event. But because they want to make a day of it, they're also splitting us into 4 groups of 100. And I think we play 4 holes as a 100-some. Best ball style.
Oh, okay.
And all I want out of the weekend, whether it's with the 100 or the 400 would be even cooler. I just want them to use my shot once. I just want to be the farthest one time.
I'm going to level with you, brother. I played golf with you. I don't know if it's going to happen. I will say.
Hey, you know I can hit big. I just don't usually hit straight.
Sure. The one thing is during the 400, like when all the 400 people tee off, you don't want to be the guy with the shortest drive.
I don't want to be the guy who stoops to. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Because for those that don't play golf, in best ball, you use whoever hit the farthest or best shot, and everybody else just picks up their ball along the way. So 400 people are going to start walking down this hole towards their balls that are not as good as the best shot, and no one wants to be the first person to stoop down and be like, oh, I found mine.
Oh, my God. Can you please try and take some audio during that? Because I would love to hear the sound of 400 clubs swinging at the same time. That would be beautiful.
We have talked about it on the show. The sound of a good golf shot is one of the greatest sounds in the world.
Even better than that is hearing probably 300 guys go, ah!
3-8-2.
Come on.
Especially because for the 400-some, it's one hole. You get one shot, right?
Yeah.
And imagine getting up there. Like, for a lot of us, myself,
no
very much
mulligans there,
included, this is going to be the biggest accomplishment I ever have in golf. This will be the biggest thing I'm ever a part of. I'm never going to make the tour, right? So the idea of going up there and having this one moment, this one shot, one opportunity, and then duffing one into the woods just off the tee box?
I wonder if they're going to have everyone mark their balls or not, because it's one of those things where you know there's going to be a bunch of guys. It's like, I was shooting a Pro V1 as well.
Well, so they said that they will provide balls, and they have all our information. So part of me wonders if, like, we're getting our own, like, numbered balls.
Yeah, probably then.
So that you can be, honest of, like,
it'll be the one golf game that nobody can actually lie at.
That's my thought. I guess we'll find out, but I did also find out from looking at the Golf Town website that they're going to be live streaming it on social media.
Yes.
So if you follow Golf Town, I'm going to try and wear one of my Brock and Dalby hoodies so that I'm a little bit easier to spot.
Yeah.
Also, I'm 6'3" and 300 pounds.
Yeah, just look for the big guy throwing his club.
Look for the giant bald ape screaming at the top of his lungs when he barely hits it off the tee box. That'll be me, but also maybe another like 50 to 100 people.
I can't wait to hear about this on Monday, man.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.